Sad news for Wales. William and Catherine's popularity plummets amid Harry's furor via Spare. The impact of Haz's royal badmouthing has been laid bare, with the Prince and Princess of Wales really suffering. Hello, and a very warm welcome back to our Kate Middleton and the Queen News YouTube channel. Ever since William and Catherine, the Prince and Princess of Wales, moved into their new home on the Windsor estate last year, on a semi-regular basis we have been treated to a whole new type of photo of Catherine. We have gotten to see Catherine behind the wheel. Now, if anybody has ever doubted about this "we're so normal" message that Catherine and William are always trying to plug, then look no further than to these photos that are now showing up somewhat regularly. We get to see the future Queen of the UK going off in her Audi to, I can only assume, stock up on some more blazers, or maybe she's going to add to her Waitrose balsamic vinegar selection. And last week came the latest of these examples. It showed Catherine wearing a beautiful camel coat and a checkered scarf, and she was looking like every other mother out there who has to figure out how to get grass stains out of a little polo uniform the same week that she returns to work. Now, this might be the most boring selection of photos from the paparazzi in the history of Fleet Street. A woman driving a car is not exactly thrilling material. But what is interesting about these photos is that Catherine appears to be, well, less than happy. There's a certain far-off and pensive look in her eyes. If you look carefully, you can see it. Could she have been stressing about her kids' homework assignments, maybe? Or could it have been because of the global frenzy that has surrounded the publication of Harry's book and its withering depiction of royal life? New data out is revealing the extent to which the autobiography has really hit Catherine. If you haven't read the thing, I wouldn't really recommend it. But anyway, I think I can pretty much sum it up for you. Egos clash, palace fiefdoms are locked in an eternal battle, and there is nothing especially fair about love, war, or the monarchy. And so far, the approach from the royal family has been to keep calm and carry on. We haven't heard a single statement or comment from courtiers, aides, or anybody with access to the official Buckingham Palace stationery. The strategy is pretty clear to see. They're planning to ride out the storm that was sparked by the global media press campaign around the book's release. Now, regardless of how we may feel about it, this PR blitz from Harry has certainly worked. Spare may have only been on shelves for a few days, but those hard workers over at YouGov have been at it, polling Brits to find out exactly how they're feeling right now about the House of Windsor. And the numbers are not painting a happy picture for anybody with a personal cipher, especially William and Catherine. So the number that we need to pay attention to is net favorability, and that means the total favorable minus the total unfavorable. Now for Prince William, that sits at 59% right now, and for Princess Catherine, it's at 60%. Those are the lowest figures on record for the two of them since polling began in 2011. Compared to polling done in September of last year, there have been marginal drops in the percentage of people who believe the monarchy is a good thing for the country. It went from 62% to 59%. And also, people who believe the country should continue to have a monarchy dropped from 67% to 64%. So I think it's no wonder why Catherine looked like she had a lot on her mind when she was photographed this week. Harry and Meghan's favorability, in case you're curious, has now hit a new record low of minus 44% and minus 46% respectively. But do they even care? Probably not. But for the Wales couple, these figures, plus the media storm over Spare, and all of its damaging revelations about both of them, including its portrayal of William as this aggressive bully, and Catherine as demanding and selfish and unwilling to share her lip gloss with Meghan, come after a pretty difficult year for the two of them. In March of last year, William and Catherine went off to wave to the Commonwealth nations of the Caribbean on behalf of the Queen. But it seemed like nobody inside of Kensington Palace was paying any attention to the Black Lives Matter movement and the associated shifting cultural and political currents. So the result was basically catastrophic. And I think we all know exactly what happened next. William and Catherine found themselves embroiled in the center of a crisis about race, and they were forced to face the ghost of the UK's colonial past and the connections to slavery. In the face of this 21st century disaster, William and Catherine's only real answer was to depend on the most trusty of palace tools, the statement. All things considered, they did not manage the crisis very well, and they revealed some serious cracks in the palace. And as the year went on, William and Catherine really struggled to make significant headway with their legacy projects, the Earthshot Prize and the Early Years Foundation for Catherine. And in the background, they were still dealing with this ongoing psychodrama created by Meghan and Harry and their various highly lucrative media endeavors. The day before William and Catherine got to Boston for the second prize, the first trailer for Harry and Meghan's Netflix series came out. And as far as press and public interest are concerned, it mostly overshadowed William and Catherine's pro forma meet and greet in the US. The docu-series came out later that month, and the second volume of Meghan and Harry's on-screen wine-a-thon dropped on the same day as Catherine's annual Christmas concert at Westminster Abbey, so it did a pretty good job of overshadowing the beautiful sing-along. But there is one thing that we need to remember when it comes to the royal family. So unlike Hollywood PR types or publicists with an eye on sales figures, it does not work on a horizon of days or weeks. Instead, the royal family has to think long-term in terms of decades or centuries even. So William and Catherine's success is not going to be measured by how they perform in the near future, or how big the crowds are going to be when they show up to open a new hospital ward, but instead by what historians are going to be saying about them 100 years from now. And if we try to look that far into the future, will Spare and this current storm have a lasting effect on the Wales family? I would guess not. The last 40 or 50 years are filled with examples of various HRHs taking some serious blows, popularity and support-wise, after certain headline-dominating crises, and they always manage to bounce back thanks to that patent Windsor blend of dutiful hard work and also wearing some pretty fabulous hats. We don't even have to go that far back to find a good example. Let's go back to 1997. A poll that was done less than a week after Diana passed away put the then Prince of Wales' favorability at 40%, and Camilla Parker Bowles, she was only at 13%. More than half of the people who were surveyed, 54%, thought that Charles should give up the throne in favor of his son William succeeding the Queen, and only 18% of respondents believed that the monarchy would survive for another 100 years. But today, things have really turned around. Charles is viewed positively by 62% of people, and Camilla is viewed positively by 42%. Just under half, 47%, believe that the crown is still going to be around this time the next century. So at the end of the day, that is what the monarchy really boils down to. They are in the business of survival. So the challenge for William and Catherine as not only the future king and queen, but also as parents of the next heir and two spares, is to make the royal family stand for something a lot more relevant and meaningful than just a bunch of plaque openers who symbolize duty and continuity. The important thing that they need to understand is they're required to do more than occasionally bolstering national pride, but instead they need to prove there is a place for a monarchy in the 21st and 22nd centuries too. They need to work hard to show that it really is a relevant outfit that makes an important contribution to British society. So I do wonder how history is going to remember Meghan and Harry, the gruesome twosome. Is history going to remember them as these bold rebels, or will they be cautionary tales? Will they be viewed as revolutionaries, or as people who just didn't want to work? Either way, at least there'll probably be at least a book or two for one of their great-grandchildren to sort through.